Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to tonight's streaming presentation. I'm back, I'm live, and I am... Well, I can start a new carton of fresh milk. Good start. How's everyone doing today? Hi, Tunabot, good to see you. Sorry for the vexed exhaustion that I'm starting the stream in. Suffice it to say, I picked up my carton of milk, and apparently there was a production error in the carton of milk, so... No, I just needed to clean my floor and part of my kitchen. Happy days. And Ray, thank you so much for the resub. Yes, Hunt. And Eric, thank you very much for the resub.
Super icy freezy ball of cold magic stuff.
I'm sure I will have plenty of thoughts. I do have a couple of things that I want to bring up for today's stream. But first, in order. Hello Beliar, hello Hunt, hello Eric, hello Smiley, hello Brian, hello... Scrolling, one moment. Old Sloth, hello Drevils, hello Bearforce, hello Carevader, hello Tuna Mod, and I think that's the whole list? Yes, I think that's the whole list. I hope all of you are doing well, and in your case, Old Sloth, I hope I can distract you from your relative not wellness. And hello Ray. Sorry Ray, how did I miss you? That is... Oh... Sorry, my bot doesn't show sub-messages because that makes sense for the bot. Sorry about that, Ray. And hello, Ray, and thank you so much for the resub. Same for you, Eric. Hype trends. Oh, come on, really? Again with this, Twitch? Anyway, Tsunamod being here for the very first time is actually somewhat serendipitous. Because a thing happened to me the other day. Specifically, yesterday I was watching Who Dares X. You know, he drops in here every so often and drops an unfeasible amount of bits on my face, always under an anonymous name, even though we all know it's Who Dares. And he was streaming the Final Fantasy VII New Threat mod. He was also telling me about a Final Fantasy VII mod. Very, very small, very simple thing. And by very small, very simple thing, what I mean is basically take the entirety of classic Final Fantasy VII and voice act the whole thing. Which is, you know, tiny project, 5 minutes of work, maybe 10 if you really, really stretch it. Who Dares then raided the person who was running that particular mod. That's Tuna Mods, by the way. Although I believe the director is someone else, right? Just to verify. But yeah, Tuna was doing a stream for, well, it's an NPC community stream thingamabobble. Said NPC community stream thingamabobble was just basically, if someone in the community wants to be an NPC, stick up your hand. I, as the total goddamn newbie I was, just went... And then I was invited to a Discord call, and a long story short, I am now credited for 2 NPCs. So basically, really cool stuff. And yes, I did need to go yay about that for a bit, because, you know, my first semi-formal voicing gig thing... And I'm in Final Fantasy VII. Sure, it's not official, and I think it would be weird if Square Enix asked me to voice for Final Fantasy VII, but I'm in Final Fantasy VII. Immediately got me to thinking who I could voice in Final Fantasy VII or other Final Fantasies, but that's stuff I'm really thinking on right now. In a way, Biff, it was really cool to see. It feels really uncanny the first time to hear voice acting out of Final Fantasy VII Classic, though. I was watching it, Who Dare showed me a demo of it, and I was just thinking, That's uncanny. But really cool. But really uncanny. Uncannily cool. So basically, yeah, my brain just kind of went slightly... You know what that means, right? You need to play it when it's done. I'll keep that in mind. Please tell me that's a freaking chocobo emote. No, that is very, very clearly a basilisk. Oh no, the hype train didn't happen. Shock, horror, terror, and sadness. Jesus. You've got a few then? Good grief, that is a lot of chocobo mode. Quay is not a command. If there was going to be a chocobo command, it would be walk, because I'm a purist. I also have issues. That is a command, yes. Yeah, that's fair, Catty. I'm entirely okay with that. Anyway, also, I'm taking this cloak off. It is warmer than I thought. You would, Catty. Also, I had to go out yesterday and got rained on, so I think I've goddamn well caught a cold. Again. I mean, at least I know how it happened, but still. Then why did you just bring it up, Brian? Then why did you just bring it up again, Brian? I would feel oversaturated, in an honest answer. Also, I'm teasing Cassie, don't worry. Now, if you genuinely want to claim time for it, obviously you're open to it. Don't worry, I'm not going to be that kind of jerk. Fair enough. For the moment, it's a case of I want to continue Trails in the Sky the Third, do some more story doors in there, and see how far I can get. Oh, right, there is one other thing I wanted to notify. You guys remember To the Moon, right? And its sequel, Finding Paradise. Nobody? I mean, I know Hunt remembers. Thank you, Hunt. Basically, the reason I brought them up is, yes, Old Sloth, the sequel, or at least the third game in that universe, Imposter Factory, came out the other day. I absolutely adored both voicing and playing those games when yeah, that one, Belaya. Fulfilling someone's last wish by changing their dying memories. But yeah, another game in it came out the other day, so I was thinking, when I finish up Banjo-Kazooie, should I do a full replay of all three games? Because then I will probably reserve the Sunday slot for To the Moon, Finding Paradise, and Imposter Factory quickly. I also veto not playing Trails. Yeah, you and me both. Not a chance in hell. I love Trails. Also, I really want to get some time in. But yeah, obviously with the Final Fantasy VII mod project and voice work, I will definitely be keeping you all posted, because you all know that doing voice acting, whether it is formal or informal, is kind of something that I absolutely enjoy and adore. So, this is just really cool. Also, Tsunamods, don't think I didn't see you say that about you being in contact with Square. Be careful with those kinds of statements around me. I get eager. Anyway. Uh-oh. No, Cassie, breathe. Cassie, breathe! Uh-oh. Sorry, Turner. You're only allowed to entertain her desire for Moogles if you also get her a copy of Final Fantasy Origins. Getting yelled at in 3. There we go. In case you were wondering, Lady Cassie is somewhat, opinionated. But yeah, what were we doing? Oh right, we needed to unlock the third portion of the 6th plane. And I was planning on clearing a few more of the doors. Well, I'm voice acting over them right now, Brian. Shara's absolutely right here. The best approach here is to keep calm and take obstacles as they come. There's no point in getting all panicky now, not after we've come this far. Whoever we end up facing, we'll find a way to win. Sorry, Smiley. I swear, Killica's something else. Well, whatever. I guess I'll help out with some of the guild's workload in Zeiss when I come back. She did seem kinda attached to the place and all. He's into belts, though? Never mind. From what I know, Killica went back to Calvert not long before Grandpa left Zeiss on vacation. Hi, Kebab Thief. She just showed up at her house one day to tell us she was off, and that was that. That sounds just like her. Alright. It's not a remake. I refuse to accept that as a remake. However simple Final Fantasy 1 is, whatever the hell that Final Fantasy Origins thing is, it's not it. Alright, let me very quickly install Shara and Olivier and Agate into the party so that I can talk to absolutely everyone again. Who is Ika and why did she kill her? What? Oh, kid. It's not even spelled with a double L. Do you see what I have to deal with on a daily basis, Turner? Pity me. Why did I have to end up somewhere so weird anyway? What's even going to happen to us? I'm sure I will. Oh, wrong button. I decided to ask Celeste about this library a short while ago. I can voice Hildebrand Maxwell Heliodor Mandeville. There's just a certain amount of sarcasm in my voice whenever I voice him because I think he's an absolute fucking wastrel. Basically what I did was use my usual Blue Blanc voice and then drop about 50 IQ points. She says this world is capable of absorbing information spaces into itself. The books we see come from the knowledge accumulated within, being drawn out through our thoughts and existence. So that's why Gilbert's book is here. Oh dear. That's what she told me anyway. I tried asking Celeste a few questions regarding Liberard, but she doesn't possess most of the real Celeste's memories regarding the city. I can only assume she was given the bare minimum of information regarding it and nothing more. There's an entire game around him? Who? Yeah, fair point. About 100 IQ points. It takes an impressive level of stupid to reach Hildebrand. But yeah, that's settled then. As soon as I finish Banjo-Kazooie, my Sunday slot is going to the moon, finding paradise, and then Imposter Factory. Is she just having a nap? Yes, of course she is, because it's Analyze. She really can sleep anywhere, can't she? Kazzy? I'm feeling kind of hungry, so I came over here to get something to eat. What are you looking at me like that for? Exercise makes you hungry. It's a fact of life. I'd heard Killica was able to make her way through one of the Shadow Towers alone, so she's clearly a force to be reckoned with. I wish I'd been able to meet her while she was still in the world, to be honest. Blue Blanc is highly intelligent. The reason that he keeps being found is because he does that on purpose. If he wanted to remain unfound, he has absolutely no problems managing it. The Lord of Phantasma appears to have some rather capable warriors under his command. If that is the strength of the Second Guardian, I dread to think how powerful the rest will be. This is going to be quite the challenge. Oh boy, I have a horrible feeling I'm going to get a real earful from Killica when I get out of here. I hope I'm wrong. No, it's Killica. Oh. I was reluctant to comment at first, but now I feel obliged to do so. Do you not find such remarks a little imprudent? Imprudent? It's clear from all they've done so far that the Lord of Phantasma is our enemy. Furthermore, while the Guardians we are fighting may not be the individuals themselves, their personalities are still being violated. In light of that, I hardly find it appropriate to be talking about all of this like it's some sort of game orchestrated for your entertainment. I mean, I'm sure you know of a few studies. I'm sure I can probably dig up a few studies that counteract the studies that you have studied. Basically, what I'm saying here is Blue Blanc is just very intelligent. Let's leave it at that. Reese? What's got you so mad all of a sudden? I'm not. However, I was under the distinct impression that we were all in agreement on one thing. The Lord of Phantasma was our enemy. So I will not stand by and listen to them being, of all things, praised. Really now? Come to think of it, every time we've encountered them, they've always made it a point of taunting you and Kevin, haven't they? And Boxon, thank you for those. That wouldn't have anything to do with why you're angry, would it? Yeah, don't actually try to psychoanalyze Ren, because she'll psychoanalyze you right back and is terrifyingly good at it. Ooh, I bet it does. The Lord of Phantasma seems to have a peculiar fascination with Kevin, and yet you just can't work out why. That's why you're getting so worked up, isn't it? This isn't a game, Ren. You might be a genius, but that doesn't mean everything in life will go the way you want it to, and to assume otherwise is sheer arrogance. Nothing, Poxum. For the moment, I was talking about swapping Sundays to a different game entirely, so Kazzy decided to turn that into Final Fantasy XIV because Kazzy is Kazzy and Kazzy is obsessed. Okay, that's enough! That's Estelle. Let's stop this before it gets nasty. Ren, bringing up things that clearly bother people and teasing them with them isn't a very nice thing to do. As for you, Reese, she might be smarter than other girls her age, but that doesn't change the fact that Ren is still an ordinary 12-year-old girl. Excuse me? I've never seen this scene before. Poxon, please. Poxon? You know what? I take it back. You're as obsessed as Cassie. I'm not sure if that holds true, though, Vader, but that would be giving a couple of spoilers away, so we'll go into that sometime later. I'm not sure I understand what you mean. Well, let me put it this way. She's smart, and she's strong, we both know that. But do those two things really make her that much different from other girls her age? Or make it so that she can't act like they do? Because I think you'd find plenty of 12-year-olds out there who are a little selfish and cheeky or like to cause trouble. It's pretty normal. Plus, she's got tons of good points too, like how she's always considerate toward others when the situation calls for it. See, she's just like your average girl who goes to Sunday school, right? Just a little brighter and a little stronger. You think so? Just doesn't seem fair to me to hold her to a totally different standard than everyone else her age because you see her as somehow different. Did I mention that Estelle's character growth is really good in this series? That's not to say don't tell her off if she's been bad, because you do that to kids too. It's more like you're being unusually hard on her. I suppose you may be right. You have my apologies, Ren. Really? I wasn't expecting an apology from you. Although your face says you still got a lot you want to say to me. Naturally. After all, admonishing unreasonable children is the duty of their elders, however special or not special they may be. Yeah, like I said, I'm not going to disagree on that point. As long as we're all here, we're basically your guardians and stuff. Oh, please, you can say what you like. But by the way, Estelle, you said I was just like your average girl who goes to Sunday school, right? That's very nice, Cassie. Sure I did. Am I wrong? You can think whatever you like about me, I don't care. But I do want to make one correction. I wouldn't be attending school as a student. I'd be teaching there. This is what I mean, Vader. I've got 3 doctorates after all. She's 12. Remember that. In terms of at least sheer book smarts, she's got pretty much everyone beat. Yeah, exactly. For book smarts, Ren is the winner of the series. You what? One's in chemistry, one's in mathematics, and the third is in information theory. I even publish regular papers in those fields. I do it through someone else because I don't want the hassle of someone finding out who I am, though. Right. Disciplining her appears as if it'll be an even more difficult task than I'd anticipated. Excuse me. So yeah, Ren is... Wow. Olivia, are you okay being cross-hatched with Agate? I'm sure he'll be fine. Don't go underestimating me if you don't mind. And don't forget, you've got no chance of getting out of this world unless I'm with you to help. We know relatively little about Blue Blanc's background, yeah?
You ready?
Okay, and who's the third I'm going to bring? Caster, so... yeah, so I'll bring Olivier. God damn it, Vader. There are some challenging looking books on the bookshelf. I'm not sure if Mueller would be jealous or just disturbed. It's really an either-or situation. No, I spoke to everyone. I can leave. Okay, I think I'm going to start with just continuing the 6th plane. And then a little bit later on down the line, I'm going to... whatchamacallit? I'm going to do a few of the doors as well. Which reminds me I need to ditch Olivier and swap to Richard, because Richard is the only one who can go through that door. Dramatic music! Also, I never checked the research with last time. Dude! Firmer, dude. Now, Ren definitely has a lot of issues. But yeah, stupid is not something that would apply to either Ren or Blue Blanc. Or frankly, most of the villains in this. With the exception of Gilbert, but Gilbert is a special case. That's adorable, but your friend's going to be dead before he can benefit from that. Wouldn't even say that, to be honest, Brian. A number of them do, but plenty of them don't. Also, I'm not entirely sure what psychosis has to do with their particular intellectual capabilities. It might be hampering, but it certainly doesn't necessarily affect them negatively. Ah! First boss. I forgot it was in here. I suppose this is where I should welcome you all? Lieutenant Colonel Sid? So you're our first opponent. It seems like you've been through quite a lot since last we met, Father Graham. I certainly hadn't expected that this was what was going to happen back when we met in Gransel. Personally, I would argue that that is only partially true. Sometimes, yes, but plenty of times it wouldn't serve as an inhibitor at all. Ha ha, kebab thief. All of this still feels like a bad dream to me too, to be honest. You remember all that happened under Gransel Cathedral, then? I do. I can't be sure exactly when the me that stands before you was created here, but I can say it must have been after that, if my memories are anything to go by. It's good to see you again too, Richard. This was hardly how I envisioned our reunion going, but it's good to be able to have one all the same. Perhaps so. I just feel like you may be overthinking some of the Enforcers' inhibitions, whether they are there or not. I don't want to get into the chair of a therapist and argue that. There are a few where I could very easily and immediately say that, without a doubt. But most of them, no. I feel like calling psychosis is frequently overthinking it. I could say the same to you. That being said, I wasn't expecting a soldier as formidable as you to be our first opponent. This bodes poorly for us. Don't count yourselves out just yet, even if I have no intention of being defeated. I still think it's cheating that you keep summoning friends. I'm not surprised, Vader. I avoid the wiki like the plague. Bah! We're surrounded. On my honor as former garrison commander of Leiston Fortress, I, Lieutenant Colonel Maximilian Sid, will defeat you! Are they? Ren I would find hard to argue, but Blue Blanc? I would quite cheerfully argue there, actually. Okay, they have 18,500 HP each. Which just brings me back to the original point. I am staying out of judging whether he has a psychosis or not. Is half a circle really being surrounded? Given the fact that the rest of the place appears to be wall, yes. Dog. You know what? One-on-one, bit. I said one-on-one, get back here! Oh, you... I have an art interrupt! Does everything have an art interrupt at this point? I keep forgetting that, and I hate it. Do you people mind? Alright, time to try to cheese it a bit. Ha! Should have fooled you. You should have interrupted the other one. I feel like it might still be pushing it a little bit to immediately psychoanalyze the characters to that extent. That's all I'll say. I was planning to after Zodiac went off for the strength boost. Okay, so they're not immune to instant death. That's sad. And that's annoying. Guys, do you mind? I mean, I suppose it makes Sid smarter than most, given the fact that he keeps getting everyone to focus fire, but that doesn't make it not annoying.
I'll save you.
Yeah, I'm going to take out the flunkies first. God damn it, of course it has 3 HP left. Just gonna try, I'll probably get interrupted. Well, I tried. Thankfully, yeah, Beliar. Right, spin to win. One down. Irritating, but Sid keeps having a turn in between my ability to cast any spells. Thankfully, for some reason, he really has a grudge against Joshua casting spells, so I can interrupt. Yeah, 2 characters at least have healing Curio Craft. Probably because they're conjurations, be a force. Nice try, Sid. Right, and now I can just start slicing him up, I suppose. Or missing. Oh, the impede quartz actually work. And because this is Army Colonel versus Army Lieutenant Colonel.
As clouds fall, sakura blooms. Fallen warriors gather in evil gloom. And I present to you your doom.
Yeah, I know the feeling, David.
Sakura, morning moon!
Anime! No. Which is kind of a shame, Beer Force. This is a series which is heavily story-focused, and the story is heavily good. Still, I recommend enjoying it yourself. Very nice. I expected no less from you, Richard. With a Knight of the Growlsritter on your side, my loss was likely guaranteed from the start. Not at all. Breaking through your defensive formation was a real challenge. It's clear you've already surpassed me as a commander. Oh, hardly. I've still got a long way to go before I can say that with confidence. And while I wouldn't ordinarily tell you as much, I won't waste this chance fate has granted me. I still deeply regret that you decided to leave the army behind, Richard. That was how I felt about Brigadier General Bright, and I'm sure you remember where that led me. Our paths have parted, but we both inherited at least part of it. I have the path of the sword, and you have the path of a soldier. While they may differ, we can both work towards the same goal. You're right, I suppose. Take this. The key to the barracks. As it seems you're aware, I'm but the first of several opponents you'll face here. You'll want to prepare yourselves. The worst is still yet to come. That, and I have to admit, I'm beginning to think it might be time for me to take a short break from all the co-host streams. Not that I don't enjoy them, but... my god, the amount of evenings I don't have. But that's something I will think on and discuss later on, of course. It's not something that I'm immediately going to implement. Father Graham, please do all that you can to lead everyone trapped in this world safely back out of it. I have a feeling you're the only one who can. Leave it to me, I will. At what time, Kazzy? That's one of the reasons why I just said what I did. Because Friday, Saturday, and Sunday are my streaming evenings. Monday is Brian Trails Monday. Tuesday is Lalinia Trails Tuesday. Wednesday and Thursday are raid nights, which are currently on hiatus, but still, those have only just gone on hiatus. And Friday, yes, wow, ha 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 ha. And Friday, I'm back to streaming on my own channel again. The WoW hiatus is basically the first time I've actually had an evening to myself in ages. Which is weird. So yeah, I need to think on that before I make any moves. Oh, I know. It's not something that I'm going to rush into in any direction, at least. But it recently just became kind of clear to me that, holy crap, I haven't actually done evenings for myself in a long time. I don't mind doing what I do, but I feel a little constricted every so often. At the moment, the WoW hiatus is probably the best thing that could have happened. But for now, oh, very him. It's hard not to respect him, really. Well, we should move on. He's shown us the path forward. We shouldn't let his goodwill go to waste. Got it. Off to the barracks we go, then. Indeed. Just not yet, because I want to first quickly get some healing and quickly check the airport area. Son of a bitch. No. Fine, you get to die. Next turn. Grab. Because I have no idea if there's anything here. Well, there's a chest. Wait. That sounds like... Everyone spread out! Uh-oh. We don't stand a chance! Indeed, we have nothing to gain by staying here any longer. Retreat! I don't actually remember how to get through there. It's something I need to think on, Smiley. Like I said, I'm not going to rush into anything. If nothing else, I'm not going to go, I feel a little constrained. Everything is off! Because that would also be a bit disrespectful to others. It was just an airship, Hunt. What were we even supposed to do against that? That thing was just crazy. We didn't stand a chance. I doubt we're meant to do anything against it. It's more likely to serve as a warning that we shouldn't go this way for now. How about we investigate somewhere else instead? Works for me. As long as we're alive, there's always a chance we'll be able to get through here later. Oh, I see. Yeah, I could send in Patamata. First, I want to very quickly go back to the base area to heal, though. Well, there you go. Now you know, Belaya. Chug. Back to Leiston Fortress. Well, I guess we'll first go straight to the barracks then. What's in here? This is Leiston Fortress' first barracks. We should be able to open it using the key we received from the Lieutenant Colonel. Good call. Let's give it a shot then. Kevin used the key to unlock the door. This is only one of many such barracks in the fortress, so it's not really all that large inside. We shouldn't need to spend too long in here. Got it. Jeez. There's some green hair inside. Just praise to Idios, this sinful priest gets his just desserts. I was just trying to get some sleep, and now you're gonna die. Oh, these versions only have 3000 HP. Excuse me.
Not bad.
Here's a fun fact. This is actually the first Monsters in a Box in all of Trails the Third. Took him a while to get to that point, didn't it? Screw it, speeding it up. Yoink.
Not done yet.
Yeah, by this point I kind of expected them to have gotten rid of that concept Beliar, and then all of a sudden, hi! What if the world you live in is actually a gigantic chest? Ah, philosophy. Oh no, a back attack. Whatever shall I do? I'm just gonna give Joshua the kill so that he gets a bit more CP.
That's that thing. Let's move out.
But yeah, I guess none of these people fall over and kneel at the end of a fight unless they're story important. And every single one of the soldiers here is actually a conjuration. Isn't it convenient that you always find weapons that someone in your group specializes in? You're welcome, by the way. Don't sass me, box. That's an upgrade. Alright, that's what I need that B1 key for.
That's that thing. Let's move out.
Gee, I wonder where the boss will be.
That was easy.
It's almost like they kind of telegraph it, isn't it? Of course, the problem is I know who the boss is. He's prejudiced, got a chip on his shoulder, and is in charge of most of the military. Oh no, shit, wrong boss. I've been waiting for you, Your Excellency. What? I was talking about General Morgan, actually, Hunt. So our next opponent is you, Canam. What a tragedy it is that we should be forced to meet under these circumstances. What did I ever do to deserve turning my blade against the man who I've always duly served? But please, never doubt even for a second that I'm doing this against my will. I'd never even dream of fighting you if I had a choice. Now there is one obsessed fangirl. I understand perfectly well, Canaan. But if I may, I would rather you stopped calling me Your Excellency. It was never a fitting title for a mere colonel to begin with, and I don't even have that. I'd rather you simply called me Sir, like you usually do in the office. I've grown very fond of it. You're excellent. I'm sorry, just... While we're here, please let me call you the way I'd like to. She's not obsessed, really. God damn it, Smiley. The Canon Amalthea who stands before you is a symbol of my failure to truly move forward from the past. And something tells me that if this symbol were defeated by you, then it'll finally allow me to put the past where it belongs and be born anew. You know what? I can get behind this motivation, at least. Canon. Very well. In that case, do as you will. Meanwhile, we meet again, Estelle Bright. Yours isn't a name I'm likely to forget any time soon. I've heard you're away from Liberal training at the moment. I trust you're well. I'm doing all right, thanks. So, like, you're running a research company with Colonel Richard now, aren't you? Indeed. In some way, that makes us the Bracer Guild's business rivals. I'm sure we'll get to know each other much better over time because of that. But why not start now through battle? Don't hold back. I won't be. Someone's holding grudges. You can hold back a little. Well, I can respect the whole wannabe reborn thing, but I see she hasn't ditched any of her old high-handed ways. Silence you! Wow, Caravader. Well, Your Excellency, I have no intention of holding back. So are you ready to begin? At any time. Oh god, the heavily armed one is nasty, I remember that much. Really? Fine. Pew! Please don't have arch interrupters. Spin! Oh right, she also sets mind. And she does that. I forgot about that. I think this might hit Richard, but still. No, never mind. Ha! Ow! Personal note. Stop gloating. It hurts. Yeah, damn, I can't do both of them. I forgot how absurd that craft was. Ooh. Seriously?
I'll save you!
Could you people hit Joshua so I can S-craft already? They know. Right. Because I said S-craft, I guess? And I suppose it's better than Spoink. Very nice. Oh, you bitch, I just cured that. Don't look at me. I just mentioned Spoink.
Let's end this.
How's the boosting going though, Cassie? Not the boosting, but how's the runs with Lalinia going? Very good. Give him my regards. I mean, that's not inaccurate, but that's also not why it's being said. Smart ass. There we go. Back to full. Or nearly full. Right, time to smack a light up.
As clouds fall, Sakura
I mean, he's a direct superior. He's going to have to humiliate her. I think that's how business works.
morning moon.
Why do you think I'm unemployed right now, Drabble?
My.
And not trusted with any kind of managerial position.
Monthly humiliation that you gotta pay for? That's what I'm here for too.
Hi, Troll. Also, by the way, if I seem a little bit moody right now, apologies, I have no idea where it's coming from, but I've been a little bit mood swingy today, it seems. I knew I wouldn't stand a chance against you, Your Excellency. The rest of you fought passably as well, I suppose. Thanks. You put up quite a fight yourself. You gave us a real money for our money yourself. All of you should make sure you don't get in His Excellency's way in the battle ahead. We'll be facing the strongest warriors in Liberl. He doesn't need you stopping him from fighting at his best. I'm sorry to hear that, Kazi. As ever, I do continue when I can, but yeah, I don't have all the time for it. Too many things on the mind, I suppose. Way ahead of you. Canon. It seems there's still something important left for me to do after all. However, I believe that by clearing the trials ahead, I'll be finally able to do it. It's thanks to you that I feel ready enough to face those trials head on, so thank you. You don't have to thank me. I don't think there's anything more I could say for you right now. All I'll do is pray that you safely overcome the trials before you and return to the real world unharmed. The left word. Thank you, I will. And really, if you want to discuss it on Discord, I honestly wouldn't mind it. Just spoiler tag it. If I'm stupid enough to click a spoiler tag, that's on me, after all. Alright, let's shuffle on to the heart of the fortress. This is the key to the command center, right? That's correct. It's the building directly in front of you when you enter the main courtyard from the entrance. This key should allow us to gain access to it. But yeah, let me get the beam. Yeah, Lalinia is definitely going through it rapidly. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I give you skunk spray or licorice.
Yummy, yummy dog food.
God damn it. Ugh. Oh no, Lolinia himself is very much going through it obsessively quickly. There. Still nasty.
Adequate performance.
Oh wait, let's just go back to the garden and heal to full. That one I'll grant you, Kazi. Well, for what it's worth, when next time on, I'll get through some more leveling content. Now that I'm in, officially in Shadowbringers content, I should actually level up a bunch more, shouldn't I? At least I shouldn't get absolutely tiny piecemeal amounts of experience. Had this conversation, leave me alone. I never spoke to Reese, did I? You know something, Estelle? You really are too soft for your own good. Yeah, Reese doesn't really agree with the way Estelle treated Ren. Yeah, that's going to be my primary focus, Carvader. If people want me to game swap for Hildebrand content, sure, I'll do that on stream. But, wow, man. When I play solo, I'm just going to go through the MSQ to try to get caught up a bit more. Yeah, Lulinia is very much focusing on it. I think that hostile airship is still there. Yeah. And breathe, Kazi. This building is the command center. Wow. Was the army compensating for something with this thing, or what? Looks like there's about 3 floors to it, is that right? I didn't see anything higher than the first floor when we snuck in here before. Do you think there's a staircase leading up nearby? The building was deliberately designed to confuse would-be intruders. And unless the layout has changed significantly compared to the real fortress, one of the doors in there will lead us to the staircase leading up. Thanks. Alright, shall we continue? Yeah, it shouldn't be a problem, Eli. Everyone, these trials will be like none that we've ever faced before. Yet there is but one clear path for us to take. So I must ask, are you with me? It's only when we fight together that we can overcome the great wall that stands before us and attain victory. Well, either that or be a bunch of barbarians overrunning the Chinese Empire. He said trials, not trails. Okay, let's start with this corridor. I found amazing and sparkling. There's an amber there. You see a human skeleton that wasn't in there before. Excuse me, could you scratch my back, please? No, that's creepy. Leave me alone. You're causing terrible, terrible damage across this kingdom. How does it feel? Fine? Alright. Bring to me the repenting patriot. Only then shall the door open. Obviously, the repenting patriot would be Richard. You know what, let's just do that star door right now, because I'm here anyway. I shall grant to you a memory fragment and my blessing. Oh my, look at all of this. I hope it'll prove useful. I see. You sure found out a lot. With this many potential sales routes, I've got nothing to fear. I'll be able to make my move into the Erebonian capital as soon as I'm ready with this kind of information. Fun fact, by the way. This house used to belong to Norman and his family, but Norman is now the mayor of Ruin, so he lives in the place where Dalmor used to live. So there's a lore-appropriate reason for why these two work here now. You asked us to investigate the current situation with regards to ornament sales in Erebonia, so I centered my investigation around stores in the region itself. And you did a fantastic job, too. Still, the problem of transport remains. After all, old Borden's got his grubby hands all over the international liners already. Sora Kingdom Heart. I mean, suppose that's the best you're going to get for a Kingdom Hearts name. It's true that the Borden family has preferential access to 40% of the load capacity for international airliners leaving Liberl for Erebonia. However, they are no longer the only available option. There are now private carriers as well. Here are some supplementary materials regarding that issue. My, you certainly came prepared, don't you? Well, this request ended up taking a little longer than originally anticipated. Consider this a little extra on us in exchange. I like those who think 2 steps ahead. You sure you don't want to come and work for me? I'll pay you handsomely. I'm certainly flattered you think highly enough of my skills to offer. I'm not sure I have what it takes to be successful in the cutthroat world of business, though. Just in the cutthroat world of a coup d'etat. I'm a rather timid man, you see. Yeah, that's a hell of a thing for Richard to say. Sora's last name, to my knowledge, is unknown. So, I have no idea. Technically, I suppose it could be. Come now, you can't fool me. However, do keep my offer in mind, if you would. Please allow us to escort you out. Oh, since I have you here, maybe I should give you one more thing to look into. I've already had Simon get started, but I'm not sure he's up to the task. I'd be happy to help if I can. Will this be another request to research a foreign market? It certainly will. Oh, look what you've got over there. Perfect. This place right here. Orange State? That's an unusual choice. It's quite a small place. Bear Force, we're not going to be talking about Final Fantasy Origins more today. Mostly because that trailer absolutely baffled me. Also, that demo's gameplay completely gobsmacked me. But that's all I'll say on the matter, otherwise I'll be ranting all evening. Yeah, almost definitely a troll. Sora's last name is unknown. He might not even have one. None of the Kingdom Hearts characters appear to have last names. No, I can't actually think of any. At most, they have titles like Ansem the Wise and so on. Excuse me. That just makes it easier to seize a majority in the market. Fair enough, Beer Force. In case you were wondering, the main character of Final Fantasy Origins something fancy schmancy pointless subtitle is his name is Jack. Jack Garland. Which sounds stupid. I'm sorry, it sounds stupid. Small as it is, it's not like it isn't accessible by airliner, and what market there may be there is all but free for the taking right now. I don't know, it's not out yet. So you want us to research the potential size of the market there, in other words. Shall we focus entirely on the augment market, or broaden the scope of our investigation and look into the market in general? The market in general? Do you think you can do it? With ease. I'll get in touch with one of our staff members stationed near the state right away and begin weighing options. That's what I wanted to hear. Not a problem, Beliar. I have copies with the fan translation installed. Fair enough, Beer Force. I'd never do that. I'll be back here next week anyway. We can discuss the details then. Ta-ta. Until then, take care. Oran's quite far inland. Weren't the Rains brothers in that general area of the continent? Yes, they are. I'll get in contact with them later. Thank you. She's not a merchant of Boza for nothing, is she? She's always coming in with such interesting, ambitious requests. She's not half as ambitious as you are. I think you may be overestimating me a little there. Well, can you show our next visitor in? Certainly. I think they were slightly preoccupied by her new request, Beliar. Hello there, Alan. Sorry for dropping in on you again. I just wanted to get your input on another little something regarding the city's finances. Oh, that won't be a bother at all. Please, take a seat. This must feel awkward to Norman, though. This is his old house. So what exactly can I help you with today? So yeah, Richard's company is doing fairly well. All seems to be going rather well with his business now, don't you think? Indeed. Although I admitted that it's taking me time to adjust my days being so peaceful. I do miss having a sense of tension in my life. That's something you'll just have to live with, I'm afraid. We're civilians now, not soldiers. That's true enough. In any case, it's an honor to be able to live and work with you in the city where you were born, Your Excellency. Fangirl! Canon. I really would prefer it if you addressed me as Sir now. My apologies, sir. There's no need to apologize. Well, I think we should probably go inside. I'm not sure I like the look of the sky. There's trails of thunder. Again, Beliar, I can very easily get you those copies with the fan translations. They are very high quality. It couldn't be. Sir, is something the matter? Oh, it's nothing of much importance. I just noticed that we seem to have mistakenly received another letter intended for the mayor. It's understandable that it keeps happening, given that this building was previously his, but it's a tad troublesome nonetheless. Hey, Asteria. Yeah, it's how I helped Drevels get the Crossbell games as well, Beliar, so it shouldn't be a problem at all. Suppose I'd better go and deliver it to him. It could be something important. Now, sir? Couldn't it wait? It seems like it's going to start raining any minute. It's not too far. Even if it does start raining, I won't be exposed to it for long. Can I ask you to handle the regular reports in the meantime? Yes, of course. No worries, Drevels. There's no mistaking it. The letter was sealed in a special way we used in the intelligence division. The letter itself is a meaningless decoy. The real message is concealed in how the envelope itself is sealed. It means, come to the landing port. Someone from the intelligence division is calling me in hopes of speaking to me. Most likely because they bear a deep-seated resentment towards me and what I did to them. Yes, Beliar. And I have a duty to go and see them. After all, I was their commander. I was the one who pushed their life off the rails and ruined their future. I've been waiting for you. So it was you, Sender. You were the sender of my letter, Sender. Indeed. It's good to see you again, Colonel. I'm pleased to see you're still well. I'm not a colonel anymore, Sender. I feel as though saying as much has become a hobby. No one around me seems willing to correct themselves. Oh, I'm aware, but today I intend to address you as Colonel nonetheless. I called you here because I have something that I need to ask you. I hope you can forgive me for forcing you to come out here with the weather so poor. If I can answer your questions, I will. Don't feel as if you need to hold back on my account. If you can't accept something in the answer I give you, by all means say so. Then I'll get straight to the point. Why did you leave the army behind, Colonel? What happened to your love for your country? I see you, at least, return to the military. I was relieved to see that, in truth. You were always an exceptionally capable soldier, even back in the military academy. If you hadn't had the misfortune of meeting me... If you hadn't had the misfortune of being caught up in my foolishness, you'd probably be a field officer by now. I'm truly sorry about what I did to you. Please, don't get me wrong, Colonel. I don't in any way blame you or harbor resentment for what you did. You thought about what was best for the country more than anyone else I know. Your patriotism Your patriotism was genuine and heartfelt. I don't regret following you at all. I'm honored that I could. It's certainly true that doing so has become a significant obstacle in my chances of promotion, but I couldn't care less about that. As long as I can continue to serve in the military, to serve the country I love with all my heart, I am happy. Know that I harbor no ill feelings toward you regarding the past. But, what are you doing now? You used to worry for this country's future more than any of us. You cared for it more than any other. Yet instead of picking yourself up and trying to work for your nation again, you left the army behind. And now you're running some sort of company that deals with the rich? Just what happened to your patriotism? Dramatic lightning. I beg of you, return to the military. You are a capable man. Those skills of yours would be a valuable asset to the force, and it's where you should be using them. I'm sorry, Sender. I cannot ever return to the army again. Why? Why, Colonel? You've repented more than enough for your actions. Both General Morgan and Brigadier General Bright actively desire your return. I and all of the other soldiers in my position would be overjoyed to have you in our ranks again. So why? Why do you look at me with that sad expression and tell me that it's not possible? God damn it, my throat hurts a bit, sorry. Why would you apologize to me? Make no mistake, Sender. I haven't abandoned my love for my country. It burns as brightly in my heart as it ever did. But what I did was truly terrible. I organized a coup d'etat, destabilizing this nation and disrupting the lives of countless people. Thanks to the help of all those around me, I was able to realize what a foolish mistake I made. And yet in my heart, I feel exactly the same way I always did. I'm not sure what you mean. In spite of all that happened, my love for my country is unchanged. I still feel the blind desire to do anything I can to aid Liberl, no matter how reckless or dangerous it may be. I'm the same man I was when I plotted that coup d'etat. Not a thing has changed. That thought, Sender, terrifies me. Then you didn't leave the military because you'd lost your love for the country. You're saying you left it because you still love your country. Forgive me. I have no right to be making excuses to you and trying to justify myself. Not after I dragged all of you down with me and ruined your lives forever. I truly am sorry for what I did to you and all of the other members of the division. You... Please, don't misunderstand. I didn't leave the army in an attempt to run from my own weakness. Nor did I leave it because I was ashamed of the treatment I received for my actions. After what happened, I thought long and hard about what I should have done instead of what I did. Trying to work out where I'd gone wrong. As I did that, I noticed something. Something vitally important that I'd failed to realize up until that point. After setting up the intelligence division, I began gathering information and using it to protect Liberl. Yet, thinking about it now, I didn't know the first thing about the nature of information at the time. Information isn't something that exists alone. It only exists when people use it and see it as something of worth. Furthermore, the value of that information can change radically depending on the position and perspective of those who look at it. I can't help but wonder if overlooking this simple fact was what caused my patriotism to start to become more of a force for harm than good. Somewhere along the line, I started to believe that only information I saw as valuable was of any importance. And as a result, I ended up wanting power in order to compensate for the weakness in my own heart. Thinking back, I think what I really needed was a different perspective through which to view information. One separate from the military. One that doesn't see a country or people's way of life as a system or as numbers and absolutes. I needed to be collecting information that was disadvantageous to Liberl too, rather than cast it all aside. I needed to view us and the surrounding nation in a variety of lights, while collecting a wide variety of information from a freer perspective. So you believe the company you're running now is capable of doing that? Yes, I do. I can't say for sure that this will allow me to avoid repeating my past mistakes. Perhaps there was something more important that I should have been doing before giving thought to any of this to begin with. But in the end, I came to the conclusion that Liberl needs a fresh perspective, and I then resolved to leave the army. If it needs a means to gather intel, it can make another intelligence division. That's for Brigadier General Bright to worry about, not me. Still, the civilian population has no such group or organization. It never had one. I doubt anyone in the civilian world has ever thought to create one in order to gather and accurately analyze information either. That was why I, as a civilian like every other, chose to establish RNA research. Excuse me. I need more tea. Believing that I am the right person to be the first to do so. You truly don't have any intention of returning to the military, do you? If I said there wasn't a part for me that longed to return to my days of active service, I'd be lying. Excuse me again. But I'm hoping that through this, I will be able to become another eye by which to support this nation. I do really like this, by the way, because Richard has really spent a lot of time thinking about where the hell he went so wrong. And I see my current occupation as a new way to show my love for my country. I wonder if that makes any sense. You're a coward. No doubt every word you're saying is objectively correct. That's how you've always been. There's never been room for rebuttal in your arguments. But, Colonel, you're also no longer the man who swore to forge this kingdom's future with his own 2 hands. Goodbye, Colonel. We will never meet again. Someone doesn't like the answer he got. That's not true. That's not true at all, Sander. I've chosen the path I now walk, believing it to be right, certainly. But even I don't know for sure if what I'm doing is correct. Even now, I'm terrified of the possibility that I might be making the wrong choice. Yeah, and it's not as if the military can't commission him to do any kind of job. I worry that the road I walk might be the makings of yet another grave mistake. I just don't have the same power that Brigadier General Bright does. I really am hopeless. Sir? You didn't have to come out here in the rain. I like Anthropic Red. Wait. 16-month subscriber. Smiley, you really need to tell me when you change your name. You should return to the office. You'll catch a cold staying out here much longer. Canone, I'm sure he's just having trouble coming to terms with his new life, too. Now, the reason I fell silent was because it took me about 2 seconds to realize, wait, he's been a subscriber for a year and I don't remember the name. So either I'm a wastrel or it's Smiley for the umpteenth time. So I just quickly double-checked it before I said anything stupid. He just can't forget the fervent enthusiasm of the intelligence division, as if he doesn't feel like he belongs in the world that's come after it. The day will eventually come when he'll be able to understand what you said. That's exactly what happened to me, you know. True enough, I suppose. You're right. Shall we be going then, Canone? Yes, sir. I mean, I suppose. I wasn't expecting to end up quite this soaked. Are you alright? I'm fine, don't worry about me. This actually brings back fond memories of the survival training I underwent back at the academy. I do think you should go and get changed into some dry clothes, though, sir. A little rain never hurt anyone, said me, with a cold, after being out in the rain. I don't believe I was half bad at my own survival training, you know. Even then. An encrypted call? Dillons did mention that he had some information of interest in his report earlier. Perhaps this relates to that. Sounds possible. Which would mean that something has happened over in the Republic. Yes, it's me. Can you please stop calling me that? Nobody is going to stop calling him Colonel Richard. Yes, that's right. Yes. Yes. In the Eastern Quarter. We don't have anyone there yet thinking about it. Alright, I'll look into it as best I can. Right, you be careful too. Has something happened? Another Jaeger Corps has entered the Eastern Quarter. I am definitely more tired than I thought I was. Another Jaeger Corps has entered the Eastern Quarter. A sizable one too, the Red Constellation. Really? There seems to be rather a lot of activity on the Jaeger front of late. Their arrival makes it very likely that the power struggle there will begin to worsen too. I doubt the old intelligence division network is going to be sufficient to fully stay on top of the situation. I think I may have to head there personally. Still have doubts about what I'm doing. Nothing about my love for my country has changed. Nothing at all. So is it even possible for me to find and walk the right path this time? Is it truly possible for any mortal to forge the correct path through life? Well, I'm live streaming and that appears to be the correct path through my life, so yes. No? I don't know, but all I can do is to try to follow the path I believe to be right, in hopes that I'm not mistaken. Believing in those who have supported me and worked to right my wrongs. Sir? Is something wrong, sir? Welcome back, Evan. Oh, you're here, Canon. I did tell you that you didn't need to come and see me off, you know. Ha ha, Hunt. You did, but I'm afraid that simply won't do. Seeing off their superiors is the duties of a subordinate. Perhaps in the military, but that's no longer the world we live in. There's no need to act like a soldier anymore. Oh, and one more thing. Please do take good care of things in the office while I'm gone. I think the odds of any large requests you'll struggle to handle without me coming in are fairly low, at least, but... Leave everything to me, sir. I'll be sure to handle every request that comes in with care and kindness. I'm well aware you always look forward to taking on small requests too, so they'll be given the same high standard of service as any other. I mean, it could be voice acting, Aunt. It could be voice acting. You know me too well. Why am I feeling this? Sorry, I'm feeling weirdly out of sorts and I cannot pinpoint why. It's bugging the hell out of me. I might. I'm near the end of this part of the story anyway, Hunt. Sieg? What on earth is Julius Bird doing here? Don't you just sit on His Excellency's arm as if it were your own personal property? Yeah, you've clearly gotten over your issues with Julia. Please, Canon, there's no need to glare at him like that. Also, please stop calling me Your Excellency. Richard then noticed that there was a note attached to Sieg's leg. What's this? It's addressed to me. Richard took the memo from Sieg's leg. Yeah, fair, Gavad. This looks like a letter from HQ? As in military HQ? Why is the Royal Guard's carrier falcon bringing a message to you? Who knows? It's right as a real slave driver, though. Thank you for delivering this, Sieg. Let him know that I accept his request. Sir? Was that? See for yourself. Best of luck with your little trip. We'd like to know what the Red Constellation is up to too, so we'd appreciate you looking into it for us on the side. So, someone was talking about the army occasionally doing requests of Richard and Amalthea? No, they never would. That would represent a conflict of interests, after all. Honestly, I hope you don't think this information is going to come cheap, Brigadier General. And that concludes the Richard side story. I do like that the reward for it is the covert quad. Alright, I'm going to continue exploring a little bit and then I'll take my break. Right, that's the continuation pathway. Ooh, an officer. You're fired. Yeah, covert is nice and all, but I'd rather do the fights and get the experience. It's only handy if you really want to rush through a particular dungeon without having to worry about accidentally running into things. Why are you in here, sir? I mean, I'll happily kick your ass, but why are you in here? Damn it, Kevin. Also, I'm still gaining levels fairly quickly here, which is nice. Enjoy, Brian. Thieving attempt failed. Minus 20 charisma. Also, by the way, to any of you who are new here, which I believe is mostly Tuna, every single treasure chest has a joke phrase attached due to the game's coding, so I'm checking every chest twice and reading every line. Yeah, its quartz value isn't that great either. Kevin briefly considers taking the chest as a new weapon, but it's not quite Bowie enough. Hello. Pew. Slightly less experience this time.
Not bad.
If all enemies are dead, but some are vanished, you just don't get any experience for the vanished one. Which is a bit silly, but oh well. You realize that was in my stomach until just now, right? Yuck. Treasure chest getting existential here, folks. Ah, there we go. A small plate of window glass lies on the bottom of the empty box. Alas! Another unexpected chest pain! Always welcome, but I'm not entirely sure if Tuna Mod is here right now. Might be lurking. I'll badger him about Discord later on if needed.
We're good to go.
Well, I have the CO1 key. Even then, it's not like they can do anything in the Discord hunt. Right, I forgot that this place really becomes a maze near the end here. Nice. Nice job, Pandora. I approve. If I didn't want to be opened, I wouldn't have taken a job as a coffin. I would have taken a job as a coffin. I may have misread that a little. Yeah, they literally made this place maze-like on purpose to make sure would-be invaders got in trouble. Ow.
Not done yet.
Very nice. Always like seeing dub level up. Okay, that's everything in this corridor. Nice. Did you hear about the two braces in high school? They went to Shining Prom together. Actually, can someone quickly do exclamation mark Kupo? Kazzy needs to see this horrendous pun.
Kupo, kupo.
Oh, fair enough. Given the fact that you like Shining Palms, I thought I'd at least have you experience the joys that was that pun.
We're good to go.
Yeah, I remember this place being a mad. Fair enough, Kazzy. As ever, I can't do much, but I do offer all of the help.
Good to go.
Acerbic tomatoes are people! What? Not really in the mood, but since I'm fighting you anyway, skip.
Piece of cake.
Oh wait, this is where I came from. Finally, second floor. My vocal instructor told me I should use my chest voice more. I'd say they actually are people. There are genuinely acerbic tomato enemies in the later games. I wish I was making that up.
We're good to go.
Not bad.
Sure, Hunt. I should have listened to my parents, become a cupboard instead. And this chest is empty, but it smells pleasantly minty. I'll check when I go on break, Vader. Yeah, I forgot how much of a maze this place is.
Oh, you rule.
Not bad.
Yeah, like I said, I'm just quickly killing as many as I can purely for the experience. Although I'm reaching the point where they don't really give enough experience to matter. I think once Estelle and Joshua hit level 125, I should be good. You built the place, didn't you, Cassius? No, yes. This chest contains the meaning of life! This chest is covered with a thick layer of funky-smelling mildew. But you're gonna wear that crest charm anyway, aren't you? Yep. You know what song I have stuck in my head? Neither do I. Oh god, that gets bleakly philosophical, hand. And Evie, thank you for the host. Moment, I need to check the other corridor because I feel like I'm going a little bit further than intended. Well-ish. It's a weird day. How are you today? Fine. Take it. I don't even want it anymore. Nope, they have an insta-kill. Not willing to take that. But yeah, I hope you're doing well, Evie.
We're good to go.
Yeah, now I need to follow this corridor to the end. Ah, that sucks. I'm so sorry. That's never fun. Now that I'm empty, have you considered depositing all of your mirror inside? No, it's my mirror. Shut up. Right, I'm just going to go on until I hit the next boss area, and then I'm taking my break.
That's that then. Let's move out.
Ah, this is really weird. I'm having one of those days where everything feels a little bit awkward, as if even my facial expression is a little bit uncomfortable on my face. Which is really weird, but it feels like my eyes are slightly too closed, my mouth is slightly too weirdly open. Just everything feels a little bit off, and I cannot place why. Oh, I'm fine. Oh, another instant death turn. Not a chance. It really is! Mostly because I can't place why. There we go. Preemptive attack. That's more like it. I don't know if that's even noticeable, if I look weird or not. Weirder than usual for the smartasses in the crowd.
That's that then. Let's move out.
Good. Thank you. Do you think I might be overgeared for this? But you always look okay.
We're good to go.
Thanks, Hunt. Appreciate it. And that's where I need the CO2 key. Hey, Donnie. And that's the halfway point. I'm afraid you've arrived at a slightly bad time, Nani. And by slightly bad time, I mean I'm literally about to go take my break. I'll be back in a couple minutes, so have yourself the usual stretch, drink, snack break. I'll be back in a few. See you shortly. And I return. Gog's so weird? What do you mean? Thank you. Let's see, there's a game. I do need to grab chat and this quickly. Oh, that's normal. Okay. Where was I? Oh, yeah. Let's go fight the person that I thought we were fighting last time. What time do you call this? You're late, all of you! Huh? General Morgan? What is the meaning of all of this? I get dragged here by some bizarre masked hoodlum, stripped of my free will, and I'm now being used like some sort of puppet. This is humiliating! I've never been so damned infuriated in all my years! General, you haven't changed? Well, I suppose getting angry won't do me any good. You all have my sympathies for the situation you've been forced into. So, Estelle and Joshua Bright, how have you been faring on your journey? Are you still doing well? Yeah, thanks. I'm glad to see you're still in good health too, General. Bah, I'm past my prime. The sooner I can pass my duties over to your father and retire, the better. I'm sure you've more than earned it. Richard? I have plenty I want to say to you, and a lot I could say to you, but I'm not sure I'm the best person to do so, so I'll let you off for now. Thank you, General. Regardless, I think we've wasted enough time talking. There's no avoiding a battle between us. We may as well get started on it. A halberd? Oh, yes, I'm not sure when I last saw one of those. Don't underestimate his weapons. In his hands, it is extremely dangerous. Before the mechanization of the army began, that halberd claimed the lives of countless foes on the battlefield. I haven't had the cause to wield this since the martial arts tournament 2 years ago, however. But if you struggle against an old man like me, your odds of success in the trials ahead are grim indeed. Don't hold back! Show me what you've got! And, possibly unsurprisingly, but General Morgan is genuinely terrifying. Yeah, and even Morgan summoned some help. Coward! Ow. Oh, not ow. Never mind. Ow? Ow. Ow. Ah. Ow. Right, safety strat.
I hold in my hand the chalice of heaven. May its holiest of lights act as our shield.
By the way, audio is playing, right? I did unmute. Okay, good. I would have felt like a bit of a tit if I hadn't. Sure. Very good. I assumed as much, but I wanted to be sure. Nice. Let there be carnage movie tickets. Bit sad it won't stream, but... What do you mean with it won't stream? I wanted to hit the other one. Ah, I see. Wait, why wouldn't they?
I'll save you! Yeah!
Okay. Unfortunate. Oh god, I think that all passed me by, Nani. Probably for the betterment of my sanity by the sound of it. I wouldn't mind it, Hunt. Okay, now that his flunkies are dead, I suspect... I'm in trouble. Ow! Jesus!
I'll save you! Yeah!
Disney made a contract with all these actors long before the pandemic, so when Disney started streaming the movies and not going to theaters for the release due to said pandemic, that created a streaming service with movie titles and that charged a pretty penny for them, unsurprisingly. Steam. Oh, there we go. Christ, it took about 10 minutes to load. And Hunt, thank you very much. Problem is, there was no language in how much the actors make from the streaming of their music, only what... Oh, I see. They quite cheerfully shafted their actors because that's what they always do. Fair enough. But yeah, and shall we call that half an hour? Would like to claim that game an hour or so at the end of stream. Do you mind if we see how my out of sortsness develops, though? I'm feeling weird as heck today. I don't know what's causing it, and I'm not going to force it. But if I'm good, I will happily swap games. Ow. Jesus Christ, General. Calm down. Damn. Oh god. Can someone quote that? You know I'm flexible, Hunt. Right, let's Grail Sphere again. For reference, the old man does have an S-craft, and I'm kind of terrified of it. Thank you. Nice. Kind of want him to use his S-craft because it does look really impressive. I don't think he's going to use it. Oh. Traitor. Well, I'm giving him one last chance to use his S-craft. After that, I'm finishing him. Well, I tried.
As clouds fall, Sakura blooms. Fallen warriors gather in the evening gloom, and I present to you your doom. Sakura, morning moon!
That's unusual.
My. That
Whatever, Hunt. By this point, people have so many weird ideas about me I don't even know anymore, so... Nice, yes. Well, that's something of a relief. Perhaps you might be able to pull off a miracle with that strength. And our final foe is who I fear it is? Indeed it is. And no matter how strong he may be, he is human like the rest of us. No man is invincible. Pour everything you have into the battle, and you may yet be able to defeat him. Understood. Still, I'm a little disappointed. The thought that he may actually be defeated in battle, and I won't be there to see it happen, is a frustrating one. Should we ever meet again, I'd like to know how the battle went. Well, it sounds like we're in for the fight of our lives. You're not pissing anyone off, Cassie. Let me immediately say that up front. Not even me, despite what I said earlier about being a bit overwhelmed. Frankly, from everything I've seen, just about everyone's enjoying it. That it will be. I suspect this was always an inevitability, especially as long as I am here. I may not be in any position to ask, but I'd appreciate it if you would all lend me your strength. This battle should allow me to finally put the past behind me so I can truly move forward. But I can't win it alone. After a plea like that, how could we refuse? I'd be happy to. I'm curious how much a fight I can put up against him too. I'd be happy to assist too. It's been 6 years now since he took me in. This will be a good chance to show him how much I've grown during that time. Cassie, do me a favor and go hug Normie. Thank you, all of you. Our next opponent is perhaps the strongest in the land. No underhanded tricks will work against him. Our only hope is to do as the General said and pour everything we have into fighting him. May the goddess smile upon us. Right. But yeah, genuinely, despite my joking about it, I genuinely do not intend to yell about anyone claiming time for any game. I learned my lesson when I made Nani feel bad about that, even though that wasn't my intent either. It should never happen that you feel bad about claiming time. People are not getting pissed off about it. And if they are, that is their problem, not yours. I know, but I apologized at the time because I felt like an arse about it. We spoke that out ages ago. And since Nani was then, after that whole kerfluffle, the person who set the new record for donations on the stream, I think she forgave me. Yeah, I went there. I'm not even sorry. I think that's the general thing. I mean, Beerforce said it as well. He may have zoned out a little bit during, whatchamacallit, during Trail's story segments because he missed a lot of it and it's a little bit nonsensical to him. Doesn't mean he's angry or annoyed about it. At least I hope so. I mean, I suppose, Nani, but you get the point. If only I'd come with an explosive trap. Also, that is a very flat rifle. Hello, sir. Please keep facing the wrong way so I can kill you. Also, by the way, Nani, on the topic of competing against yourself, you do set the bar fairly high. So I'm not entirely sure if it's not just your own fault.
We're good to go.
I have way too many celestial bombs. I should sell a couple. You find a torn note that says chest number 53 was here. Hello. Didn't even see you before I nearly killed you. I hope you enjoyed your short nap.
All right, what's next?
I hope you at least made sure not to leave fingerprints on the crime scene. What crime scene? I just opened a chest. Drama queen.
We're good to go.
Oh. Nice.
We're good to go.
That is the kind of cool stuff that is cool. I missed the door because I'm smart. Did you know the average human body contains enough bones to make an entire human skeleton? Fair. That's, I feel like I just got educated. Yeah, Smiley, and thankfully after that, Nani only gave me a heart attack with a $5 donation, and I'll thank you not to threaten with the 250 hours again.
We're good to go.
I mean, perhaps so, though, Smiley. I should not be enticing it either, but this time at least it was topical.
We're good to go.
There are mustard stains in this chest. Sorry? These fights are becoming a bit repetitive, aren't they? I suppose one of the risks of becoming a little bit too powerful.
All right, what's next?
Yeah, those bars are just evil, Belial. Oh, it really was a good move, Nani. I have a cousin in Erebania. He doesn't talk much. For reference, in Trails of Cold Steel, the treasure chests don't have joke phrases.
My, that was easy.
There you are. Give me loot or give me death. Yeah, we're still talking into the four figures. As Smiley said, wasn't it a little over $5,000? It was absolutely absurd, at least. Nope, Joshua isn't in here. No, he's right here. He's in the party. Yes, Beliar. Trails in the Sky the Third took a very long time to get a localization.
We're good to go.
No!
We're good to go.
God, I still have no idea how I'd react if something like that would happen. Right. Possible, but still, that is... Let's call it unprecedented and continue on from there, shall we? It would still be just a little what? Let me refill my CP. I mean, I think the game gave it away, yeah, more or less by now, Beliar. Well, it's not. What the... Oh, there's a little dent here that stops you. Nor should it ever be. Alright, folks. Who's ready for the scariest fight in the game? You made it, I see. Brigadier General. Dad. Dad. I thought the ordeal revolving around the Oriole was over, but it looks like that was premature of me. I doubt even Ragnar saw this coming. What about you and the Gralsritter, Kevin? Did you? Nope. Took us completely by surprise. Although I can't say for sure whether the bigwigs at the top of the Congregation for the Sacraments had any idea this might happen. I do wonder. Well, I suppose there's no point in debating that now, anyway. Let's get down to business. As you know, I am the third of the Guardians. If you defeat me, you can move on. If you can't, the road ahead will remain forever closed. Of course, you already know as much, don't you? Indeed. We came fully resolved to deal with what we knew was waiting for us. Defeating you will allow me to finally cut down my hesitations and move forward. And for that reason, I will hold back nothing. That's what I wanted to hear. Still, I wasn't expecting the two of you to get dragged into this with you out of the country. Been reading all the letters you send me. How are the two of you doing? Good? We're both doing great. I'm glad to see you look well, too. 5,025. Yeah, 100 would be 3,000. 60 would be 1,800, so that's 4,800. Plus 7 would be... One moment, that was 4,800 plus 7 hours. 5,025, well played, yeah. Pretty much, Beliar, but, I mean, it's Cassius Bright. I'm bringing Joshua and Estelle. I'm not planning on letting age get the better of me yet. Either way, this'll be a good chance to show me how much you've improved since you left on your trip. I'm looking forward to it. Right. Of course. Well, I think that's enough talking. It's time we got started. As I'm sure you understand already, I couldn't hold back even if I wanted to. So, Richard, I have only one thing to say to you. Faker? I think you're the fake Stripes around here. I'm not doing the entire cutscene, that's way too embarrassing. But I, Stripes. Yes, sir. Defeat me. That is all. I shall! After an attempt or two, maybe three. Cassius is absolutely goddamn terrifying, to the point where he, A, does not need any allies. He's on his own. He has more HP than all the boss fights combined. And is by far the hardest fight in this chapter. So let's start by making myself immune to damage.
And the chalice of heaven. May its holiest of lights act as our shield.
Love this music so much. He also has a fair bit of defense. Yeah, Cassius doesn't need the help. Right, I need to Zodiac it up. Right, that also delays you, because why not? Man, it's like a freaking forklift, yeah. I want my Sepith back. Yeah, Cassius is goddamn terrifying. Ooh, that's a difficult one. Personally, I wouldn't even say the end boss of Owl would be the hardest. More like the one on top of Stargazer Tower. No further details forthcoming because major spoiler territory, but that one is, yeah. The final boss of Owl definitely was a bastard, though. To those of you wondering, Trails of Azure's final boss just has a move that basically goes, if you don't have Protect up, you're just gonna die. And it's the entire battlefield. So make sure to have Earth Wall up, otherwise it's a game over. Guaranteed. It's a little cruel. Oh! How did I tapped my controller and I managed to hit the joystick and the A button. I don't mind doing an S-craft because Zodiac is up anyway, but how?
Wanna see what I got?
Excuse me. Donk. Yeah, it healed Estelle to full, so, you know, mission accomplished. I mean, this is a very long shot, but do you think he can be delayed? Yeah, I suppose not. Oh right, he does that too. Ow! Yeah, well, someone's gonna die. I was kind of hoping to cast Gorel Sphere again, but I think I need to pick up a... Yeah, I think I need to pick up Estelle. And remember, that's with me having 25% extra defense. Can he reach her? No, god damn it, she's well out of range. Well, let's get as close as I can. Ow! Maybe, but I think I'm still gonna die. Yeah, there's basically nothing I can do right now. Because that speed boost on Cassius is just that absolutely absurd. Shit! Oh, I am fucked. Because thanks to Cassius' absolutely absurd speed boost, all I can do now is do a rearguard guard keep healing action. Case in point, please stop that. Pick up Kevin, please. Actually pick up Kevin with a Zerum powder. Don't think it's going to do much good, but... When are your buffs going to end? Please end! Stop it! No, don't delay! Oh, you massive dick nugget! Oh, God, this is why fighting Cassius is terrifying. Okay, I have at least some of my buffs back. Do you have Clock Up EX? Yes, you do. Okay, good. Stop it. No, stop. Stop. Stop! Oh, his strength buff ran out. Thank Christ. You'll note that it doesn't matter how far apart everyone is. That just hits everyone. No questions asked. Okay, now that everyone has their speed increased by 50%, maybe I can get a turn in before Cassius obliterates me again. And I can. Okay, good. Kevin, can your Grail Sphere reach? Nope, we are moving to the corner. Okay, I have my shield back.
And the chalice of heaven. May its holiest of lights act as our shield. Grail Sphere!
Oh, farming triple triad card. One of these days I need to get into triple triad in Final Fantasy XIV. I just don't have the patience for it that I used to. Maybe because I played it too much in Final Fantasy VIII, actually. I am so glad I have a Guardcraft. Oh no, no, just take 2 turns and up your speed again. Oh, oh look, a crit turn. Joshua! Hit him really hard. 277, Jesus. There's 326 cards already. I think my collection is a little under par. And Prep, thank you so much for the resub. Also, hi Prep. Yeah, let's just double S-Craft.
Wanna see what I
I can grab the bike in a minute if you like.
got?
Let me finish this boss fight though. Oh, I'm really close. And I still have my shield up, so even if he S-crafts again, I'm good. Oh, okay. Note how little delay that lightning flash gives him, by the way. He already has a turn immediately after. Cheating son of a... Yeah, I don't intend to give him that chance, Belial, don't worry.
As clouds fall,
Oh, fair enough, Prep. Then thank you for the resub, and best of luck wrapping up. The calm period at work started. Oh, thank fuck. Got him!
my. That was easy.
Fuck off, Richard. That was not easy. How do you know this was a hard fight? Ah, fair enough, bro. The amount of experience sort of echoes it. Sort of. I didn't kill him, technically. Nice. Nice. Jesus Christ. Would you like a bit of Sepith? I love the fact that after the fight, normally the enemy is the one who's on his knees. In this case, no, Cassius is just standing there. I think all those rumors about his strength were underselling him. We did it. Congratulations. That was a well-earned victory. So, Richard, have you finally been able to clear aside your hesitations? I believe so. No matter where life may end up taking me, the swordsmanship I learned from you will always have a place and a use. Fair enough, Rebels. As noted before, get well soon and speak soon. As such, I intend to keep following the path I've chosen for myself, pride in my heart. Well said. Although I can't pretend not to be a tad disappointed. If you'd returned to the army, I could have piled all my work onto you and Sid. Looks like I'm not going to be able to retire anytime soon. I'm afraid not. But know this. As my final duty as a member of the military, I will resolve this crisis and return everyone to the real world. Have no doubt of that. I'll be counting on you. Don't worry about us either, Dad. Me and Joshua will get out of here safely, I promise. Yeah, we'll be just fine. Oh, I'm sure you will. When you get out of here, you'll have to try and find the time to pop back to Liberl from time to time, too. I'll be happy to see you. Make sure to bring Ren with you, alright? Oh, no problem. Look forward to it. Regardless, my time here is short, so I'll make this brief, Kevin. By now, you must have a fairly good idea of who the Lord of Phantasma is, correct? Yeah, I just need one last push to be completely certain. We'll probably get that push in the next area, too. I see. It's not really my place to say anything more to you, so I would ask only that you not forget this. No man is an island. No matter how much they may wish to isolate themselves from others, no one can live their life truly alone. Cassie is bright. Even a copy dispensing all the words of wisdom needed to break through any wall, because it's Cassie is motherfucking bright. Dad. And that opens up the last area of Chapter 6. Well, we have but one area remaining now. After what we have accomplished here, I'm not sure we have anything to fear. Yeah. Let's head back to the scenic route and check the final monument. That way we can find out what the condition for opening it is. Technically he is, Hunt. One moment. God, I really am out of it today. Like I said, I hope it's not showing on stream. I don't mean to be a whiny person who whines, but yeah. Quickly doing a few fights to recharge that fountain so that I can immediately heal to pull off that. Ow.
Not bad.
Nonny, if I could do that, I wouldn't have half the audience. Also, I probably wouldn't be in therapy, but that's another thing entirely.
We're good to go.
I mean, give me a perfect opening and I will take it. Winding works is definitely another part of it.
That's that. Let's move out.
Sod off, Kazi. You have friends, you have me, and Hunt, and quite a few others in this community. You are made of yay and wing.
Not done yet.
But all snark aside, seriously, Kazi, don't worry. I don't think any of us have ever taken you to task over days where you're feeling less than superlative.
We're good to go.
How is the box eating going, by the way, Kazi? I haven't finished mine yet. I'm taking it slow.
Not bad.
Yeah, I'll believe that. Like I said, I'm still finishing the blue ones for the donations, so... I don't know how I'm going to be treated by the red Takis. Sooner or later, I suppose. I'm about, what, 2/3 of the way through the blue Taki bag? Roughly, give or take. There's also that, yes, Prep. On the other hand, you serve it to most of your customers. Ha! Too far? Probably too far, I'm sorry. Alright, let's go talk to everyone. The two of you train together every day, huh? Wonder if Estelle's getting stronger because of it. Well, I'd like to think I'm getting stronger, yeah. It's slow going, though. We only serve the finest soaked paper. Oh, I am very sorry. Huh. Oh, Agate, just so you know, the Guardian of the Third Area turned out to be Dad. Yeah, I already know. Celeste told me. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't bitter about not being able to fight him with you. But I'll just pay him back another time, I guess. Agate really wanted to fight Mr. Bright, judging by the way he's grumbling, but I wonder why. I know that deep down he actually really respects him. Why can't he just be more honest with himself because he's Agate Krosner? Oh god, that sounds very unpleasant, Cassie. I'm sorry. Shara, might you slow your drinking pace just a teensy little bit? When her mind begins to wander, Shara has a habit of unconsciously starting to drink faster. I can't say I mind watching her like that, but trying to keep up with it for too long runs the risk of knocking me into a coma. Oh, you had to fight Cassius? I took him on a few times myself back when I was training to be a bracer. I don't think I've ever fought a harder battle in my life. Oh, I can imagine. How to make a trial much more difficult than a fight with him. That might be a bit too strong, yeah. I still need to try the spicy Pringles as well, now you mention it. So the time has finally come to enter the last part of this plane. I can sense something truly terrifying from the other side of the gate. I beg you, be careful. You want to give it a shot? I mean, I could try, I guess. I'll grab the tube in a minute. Keep that to yourself, of course, Hand. In a way, yes, Beliar. So you were able to test your skills against the famed Cassius Bright, were you? I can't help but wish that I'd been able to see him fight up close and personal. Master Cassius' ability in combat is basically unparalleled. It isn't his strength that makes him so incredible, though. It's his ability to see the true nature of things. That's why he's able to function equally well in both the army and as part of the Bracer Guild. He's a master in every sense of the word. Yeah. I still have the headache to prove it's in. You don't need to tell me. Huh? Where'd everyone go? Analyze, did you seriously lose your... Of course you did, you're Analyze. Let me quickly swap party members around so that I've spoken to everyone.
This ought to perk you up.
Oh, hello. I truly cannot thank you all enough. I feel as though I can finally start to move forward again. Oh, that's not ideal, Cassie. So let's keep going. Together. Are you coming on to me? Does sound like it could work as a substitute. Huh. Should I stand? Alright. Save conversation then. Everything is spinning. Yes, he was drinking with Shara. This is his mistake every time. What's up with you, Olivier? I think everyone knows full well you're the cause of this, the poor fellow's woes. Valen and Estelle truly are like sisters, aren't they? It's amazing to see just how strong their bond has become. It's been ages since I last fought Dad, come to think of it. In a way, I'm glad to hear it, because given that you said you feared lactose intolerance, sorry if you wanted that quiet, actually, now that I said it, but if that would be the case, it would suck a lot being unable to eat and drink so many things. So I'm glad that you're fine now. I suspect it was just a case of, yeah, you've been sick for a while, so this was just a last kick in the nut. Or, in your case, you know. But... that might also be it. Out-of-date sauce is a very good way to make yourself feel... What? Just one moment.
Right.
Okay, so it's half an hour of bike time, which leads me to the question. Hunt, that game that you threw on my face, is that controller possible? Prep, thank you so much. In case you're wondering why I'm a little bit nervous about donations, we were jokingly talking about how much it would take to get Noni to 250 hours banked time, and I'm kind of terrified of the donation sound now. Do you actually not owe bike time from last week? Yeah, but I don't know to who. It was a 5-minute thing. Today is... No! I'm fine. Maybe around 6 years or so ago. Oh yeah, so you did. Yeah. I had no idea at the time just how difficult the task I was undertaking would be. Let me speak to the last people. I will grab the bike as soon as I'm done with those conversations, don't you worry. Not yet, Cassie. That's actually a fair point. I will get into that in just a moment as soon as I've grabbed the bike, because I want to grab that. Josette? Something up? You're looking pretty down in the dumps. Not really. I just can't help but wonder whether we're ever going to be able to go home, so... That's it, okay? Aww. Okay, I will grab the bike when I game swap then. It seems like not even the ancients knew all that much about Phantasma. In a way, it makes sense. It's a world created by the Oriole without their involvement. Yeah, Hunt mentioned that. I was going to tell Hunt in a DM and he said that you already told him. Yeah, it's fine. This world may have been created by the Oriole. Smartass. It seems it did so without the knowledge of those who lived on the Libera Ark and relied on its power to live. They entrusted all of the cities and control and governance to the Oriole, believing that it would make the city into an actual paradise. Instead, it betrayed the expectations of those who actually made the city. Now that's the Areola. I wonder if that's what the people of the Libera Ark really wanted. Probably not. Betrayal and death probably wasn't on the wish list. Alright, let me very quickly go to the last monument. Because after that I need to grab the bike and grab another game. Once again, thank you for the generosity. I mean, I'm pretty sure you do, but Hunt, you do have the banked time to claim an hour, right? Actually, of course you do. You barely ever claim time. And Pringles, yeah. I asked if you had the banked time to claim time, but then I realized that of course you do. That's not the right monument. Don't want to fight, yeah. Yeah, Hunt has a fair bit of bank time. I don't even know what prompted my brain to ask the question. Piss off. I say this with respect and friendship, Nani, but piss off. I'm fine. I think it's an hour off. I thought it was 80. Hunt? Confirmed? Deny? Of course it's the last one. Tired, Vader? Yeah, it's on the first screen. Basically, I managed to take the longest possible route to get to the correct stone. Because I'm me. 82.5 hours, okay. Let me fix it quickly. Let me fix it so that it is at the current correct time with no needed further alterations today. Fair enough, Vader. Have a good one. No, it's fine. Kept everyone up to... I mean, if that were to happen, I would actually be able to make this my job. I would also have a hell of a time explaining that to the tax office. Christ, can you imagine how they respond? So, you appear to have gained a total of $75,000 in a day.
All systems, full power.
Yes, I'm sure. But thank you very much. Also, Steam check? One moment, so there we go. To be honest, I have absolutely no idea why that's even there, Preb, but thank you very much. How to cover the Pringles, fair enough. For reference, I have no idea why that's even on my list. I haven't had a chance to go through my list yet. Yes, thank you, anonymous person. The face of the monument is glowing, and words are visible upon its surface. In my lord's place, I, the Schwarzritter, do decree. Here lies the Black Ark. Place your hand upon this monument, the orphan of a lost village among your number. What? That's... the orphan of a lost village? This is the most obvious one so far. We should head back to the garden and speak to Joshua. We can decide what to do then. Yeah. Alright, let's get Joshua. Yeah. Oh god, then I really need to clear out my wish list. Right, party change. Joshua is mandatory, and who else do I bring?
Let's go.
Well, that gives me a fairly decent party lineup, and characters who need leveling. Kevin explained to Joshua that they thought he was the person the Noval Monument's inscription was looking for. Sounds like the final area is where that Schwarzritter is waiting for us then. I wonder why he'd want me to go, though. All we know is he does. What's the verdict? Up for it? Naturally, I'll be accepting his invitation. We should head back as soon as we've made preparations. Just let me know when you're ready. Let me quickly show you what the Black Ark is, though. But yeah, Prep, again, thank you so much for the generousness. It genuinely means the world to me. Yeah, that sounds fair enough, Noni. Poke. Why here? Hello and welcome back to the Glorious. Oh really? I never knew that, Beliar. So our next area is the Glorious, huh? Or rather, a version of it that's black instead of crimson. Well, at least we know what the Black Ark was referring to now. Looks like it's the same size as the original Glorious. Has the same layout, too. We can't be sure until we actually go inside and look around, though. This looks like it's going to be a barrel of laughs. Well, we should have figured as much since it's our last area to go through and all. It'll most likely be full of Ouroboros archaisms, just like the laboratory was too. You know the drill. Guards up, guys. Got it. That is actually kind of neat, Beliar. I never knew that. By this point in the game, I always have someone with a haze quad. But yeah, I think tomorrow I'm going to suspend this for a little bit and clear some of the doors because, well, we have 2 of the story doors left to go. Only 2 star doors, though. We're clearing that fast. And for the sun doors... oh god, I still need to do that. Doable. I don't have that many doors left to clear, and I'm actually really happy about that, because story-wise, they're really good. Also, this music is excellent. But yeah, on that note, let me quickly close the game. I am going to swap to my break screen, because I also need a quick toilet break. Then I will grab everything I need for the second half. To those of you who are watching on YouTube, however, that will be the end of this segment of the stream. I am going to be swapping games, and thus swapping videos, and stopping this stupid bloody hiccuping problem. This means you still have not... I know! I've been doing the highlighting of the streams, Hunt, and... 2 weeks ago, For 2 weeks ago, the highlights were 6 different highlights for 3 streams. Last week is going to be 6 different highlights for 3 streams. And this week, at least today, is going to be 2 different highlights for 1 stream. People are claiming a lot of time lately. Aw. That's kind of sucky, Kazzy. Anyway, sorry, let me just quickly do the wrapping up thing before I get further distracted. YouTube, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. More of this madness in the next VOD, obviously. But for now, I bid you a very good night. Don't forget to like and subscribe and all that. But for now, just, yeah, have a look at the rest of the channel, I suppose. Good night.